Hello everybody, welcome to Life to the Max. I'm Mike Max, basking in the flame and the glow of a nice fire in the Northland. Not a bad way to go, even if you've got an executive look going. Today we're going to look at another great tradition, and that is the grand old game of baseball played a little bit differently. We'll take you to Gaylord, Minnesota, where a team from the St. Croix Valley came with the 1860s rules and look. Plus, we'll go to St. Paul and the Xcel Energy Center. The Minnesota Wild pick their team based on who has potential, who has ability, and who has character. Some of that is determined during the summer months when they hold a special invite camp for the top prospects. It's NHL Dreams Extreme. But first, speaking of extreme, that's kind of the life that Dan Monskey lives. He loves to be out there, he loves to be pushing it. And today he takes you to the Grand Canyon, like only Dan Monskey can do.
I'm at the Grand Canyon in Arizona, an incredible place with beautiful vistas at every overlook. For tourists, it's a landmark on the earth that inspires awe and wonder, and it's rife with opportunities for adventure. The many scenic overlooks, exploring hiking trails, and thrills from aerial flights over the canyon. But I'm not here as a regular tourist. I'm here for some exciting adrenaline-pumping action down there on the river.
It's the greatest river trip in the country. But once you finally get out here, you have 2 weeks without a telephone or email or cars or parking lots, and you can really kind of relax and take stock of yourself and, I don't know, maybe think a little bit about how you could live your life differently and plus have a pretty fun time.
One of the things that's really striking about this trip is the isolation and that sense that you're so many miles away from other people or from civilization. And so this is just so isolated that I think that also adds a piece of drama to the rapids.
In the Grand Canyon, the Colorado River has a lot of rapids. Some big and scary, but most of the 225 miles of river is actually calm and peaceful.
What's really incredible is you have all these tranquil flat water sections with stunning scenery, and then that serenity is broken by this roar, this thunderous roar, and it makes your heart start racing a little. And when you first enter that rapid and drop down the tongue, the acceleration gives you a sense of weightlessness. It's a really incredible sensation, and then you feel the power when you hit that first wave. Yeah, it's an exhilarating feeling.
The rapids here are so huge, and I guess the first day when we would go through these, what they call riffles down here that are like class 2 and 3 in the other rivers I've done, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And we're down in these holes that seem as big as my house. It is the biggest rush I've ever experienced.
The rapids here are big and potentially dangerous. River runners often want to scout to get an advanced view of the action.
Lava Falls is that one rapid that every time you get out of your boat and you walk down to scout it, you start feeling your stomach just turn, because it always looks gnarly in there. I've seen it at low water, I've seen it at super high water, and I've also seen it at medium water, which was this trip, and it's just always intense looking. And you never know what's going to happen in there. I mean, you get spanked this way, you get spanked that way, and you get spanked on the back deck, and then, 20 seconds you're done. I mean, that's what's so cool about this canyon is you come down and every day it just keeps getting better.
And you can see down there, there's a little bit of a flat pour-over hole, like on the inside of the bend. You see that? Yeah. You know, when I'm running the rapids, and that's, for me, surely one of the great attractions of the Grand Canyon, is that adrenaline shot. I guess as I don't run so much whitewater anymore, that adrenaline shot is bigger than it used to be. And depending on the rapids, your reaction or my reaction might range from just sort of mellow pleasure to controlled fear. And there's nothing better than looking at a rapid a long time and thinking, wow, I could really get pounded in here, and then having a perfect run and getting to the bottom. That alone is worth the price of admission.
That price of admission is from a privileged invitation. Group social dynamics, abilities, and experience all play a role in having a successful, enjoyable journey.
so trip leaders are selective in choosing participants.
I chose the people on the trip for their river expertise and or their personalities. Good mix of veteran, extreme whitewater kayakers and very experienced rafters, and then some people who have done no rafting at all. And that's really fun to see people who have not been in this environment get a chance to experience it. That's pretty cool.
I've got an inboard instructor. I think the canoeing I've done has helped a lot, and then basically it's just a matter of going for it. If you don't go for it, you just miss out on opportunities and chances to learn stuff and experience stuff. And being a passenger is completely different to being behind the oars. And when you're a passenger, you kind of you're going with the flow, and you, especially when you sit up front, you don't really see what's going on. You don't have the complexity of it. So getting behind the oars on the smaller rapids gives you a huge respect for the river, because what looks small, suddenly you realize how powerful it is.
Reading rapids is learned by hands-on opportunities, but the bigger the river feature, the more complex and dangerous they are. Experience really helps.
You know, learning to read the rapids, which is why I like going up when all these guys are scouting, because I can listen to what they're saying, and you know, they see things I don't see. So it's all just learning and respecting the river, but it's a lot of fun.
Hit our line all the way through and crested that last wave, which dropped us into that last diagonal, and we flipped over before we even had a chance to figure out what was going on. You know, and that's the great thing about it, is the river didn't care how good our line was, and the river had the last word. And that's what makes it exciting. Still holding the oars as the boat flipped, and so I was caught underneath the raft. And that raft flip over would be something I'll never forget.
Yep, fun for the novice and expert alike.
When we come back, a little baseball with a different twist. 19th century style. Stay with us on Life to the Max.
Life to the Max is brought to you by Life Touch, photography for a lifetime.